was just grabbing my coffee. It's that kind of that's like the folders that you put in the fridge. Got my big cup, and I'm like, even though it's not very good, I only had like this much coffee this morning. Because I was like my coffee maker like a nightmare. But this might. Oh, by the way, where the new number is the title. Yeah, that's the new number. So I started my period this morning, so that might explain why I've been like so depressed and like moody lately. Hello.
Hey, Stella.
So I was just like by the pool. I was in the pool a couple times. I thought if I laid in the sun that maybe it would help like my hormones would help me calm down, but like relax. But I don't think it was a burn. Okay, maybe slightly. Okay, but still, I'm glad that I did it because I needed the sun. It's like the photo, like the process. It helps like your healing processes. I feel like I needed that.
I don't know what that is. I never did no sunburn.
Stop bragging.
I never laid in the sun yet. I'm all right.
I just try to do what I can. I was just like going through some of my books, reading some of my books, but trying to not be too hard on myself today because I just
that it's your time. It's your time of the month.
Yes. So I got these boots this morning. I was not expecting them today. I was expecting the Monday. So I was like, what is this box? And I opened, I'm like, and I tried them on. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like, just make sure they fit. And I wanted to keep them on longer, but I was posing like on the floor and my butt, like, it was sticking to like the dirt on the floor. I'm like, I have to take a shower. I have to stop this. But it's been a pretty good day, except, like, well, I had a little cramps, but then it made sense because the period. Back pain because the period. So I'll just try to take it down myself, I guess. How was your day? How is the new kitchen? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah. We had to switch some lights and move a light.
A light?
Yeah.
A light fixture?
Yep. Yeah, and I was shocked when your original YouTube channel got terminated.
No, I wasn't shocked. In hindsight, probably wearing, like, looking like I'm advertising for a porn site, like, probably was a bad idea. And, like, in hindsight, I could see that, like, oh, yeah, that probably is too.
Oh, yeah, it was porn.
No, it wasn't, but okay.
Yes, it was, because it went a Pornhub shirt.
Okay.
And now they got this license where you gotta give out your age.
Mm-hmm.
And which is so dumb. It's even that rule is even here in my state.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about. It was like speaking with a beat. Anyway, I think I just threw that on because it was with. By the way, I got another lot from that guy. I thought he shipped it, but he didn't ship it. Was it last night or the night before? I think it was the night before.
What guy?
The one that makes the lots, and he said that he. I'm sorry. Can I? I need to tell you this, just so you're aware.
I'm listening. What the hell did this motherfucker say?
Nothing. I'm trying to tell you. No. I'm trying to tell you, Arthur, that something. I have been shaking very badly. That's part of why I was laying out. I'm trying to do everything I can so I don't scare you guys by shit. But I feel like I feel the triggers that I'm gonna.
Okay. Spill it. what the fuck happened?
Nothing bad happened. I'm saying I'm trying to talk to you, but I'm just wanting to make you aware that I've been shaking again, especially like this last couple of days have been really hard. So I'm trying to let you know, like, be patient with me because I'm not at my best lately. So
okay.
Okay, so
when you told me that somebody was telling you something, I was waiting for you to tell me what this person said.
Yeah.
So what he said?
I'll tell you what he said. Where's my phone?
And I think everybody else want to hear this because I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Don't leave nothing out. Just tell me everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us everything.
Okay.
So get ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Oh, he just wrote me. All right, let me see before that. Okay, he said, hey, you. Okay, so this box may have been the fastest I have ever assembled for you, but it is going to be completely below the last one out of the water. It all just came together so effortlessly. Me and you have a manifestation power going on. And it's a beautiful thing. Having said that, are you ready? So I wrote him back, anything to cheer me up today. And then I don't know when he posted after, what's wrong? He's like, I'm in the same boat. I feel down. Also liberated. I've been cutting out toxic people from my life, and one just happened right now. This guy, I feel like he reminds me like of Pale a little bit. Like if he does, that's why he painted his nails, because he says he did like the drumming is done into his fingers. I feel like him and Pale could like start like a Zen band. And then he said, this package is going to cheer you up, guaranteed. I wrote, I just struggle with depression sometimes. And then he wrote me this. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, I know what that can be like and how nothing anyone can say or do can really change it. But I can say that without even knowing you, IRL, I have felt a positive and unique energy from you that is wonderfully infectious. My curations for you have become the focal point of my sourcing necessities. It's a uncommon relationship we have that allows me to become totally confident and adventurous when digging for treasures, and for that I thank you. So yeah, so he didn't ship it yet. I don't know what, let me see what he wrote today, but
this guy is either weird or he's just completely mentally stupid.
Oh, okay. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, so that he did say that was another law. I'll see what he wrote just now, but I don't want to like. I'll tell you in a second whatever he wrote. Okay, so he curates these lots. They're mostly like lingerie, but I guess he has kind of like a rock and roll edge to him of things that he finds. So he thinks like she's a wild girl. Like he knows that I have an OnlyFans. So he's like, she's a wild girl, like probably like she would like this shirt, but I didn't know what it was. But I'm saying, yeah, I probably should have, in hindsight, taken that thumbnail down. And it occurred to me like the next day, not even right away when I found out it was gone, but I was so exhausted, and I had been getting like so exhausted that my head just wasn't there enough to see it. Like I really couldn't see it. It was right in front of me. Like, oh, that's probably what triggered it. Like if somebody there saw that and they're like, this is your advertising for like bras of a porn site. And yeah, like that's probably stupid. But I never think anyone would find me because like I guess it was getting like a little bit more viewers, but not many. And I only had the title. Like I don't have any keywords at all. And usually my titles don't even make any sense. So what I mean is it's not exactly like I was going to hit like a trending page. And it really was like an advertising, like I'm hitting every keyword, like Disney Channel, like I didn't expect in any way that I would pop up in even adults page to find me, let alone that like a kid's gonna see it. I'm just so buried, you know, like what, there's 10 people here. Like I'm not expecting anything I'm gonna say that some like kid is gonna find me. So I feel a little bit bad about that, but at the same time, I forgive myself for not catching that because it's very hard to like constantly keep quick about you to catch these things when like anybody else, I get tired sometimes. Like I don't see everything.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Saying
Yeah, because that was just
there's like a lot of people that you know who you know has been on your OnlyFans for a long time. I'm one of them. Terry is another one. Dwight is another one, and who's under, and a lot of other people. But this person who just comes on there and says what you told me. So I wouldn't trust this person.
He doesn't know my OnlyFans. He doesn't know what I look like. The only thing he picks up about like my energy that he says is like as a shopper, I'm really like I give feedback like right away. I'm not like picky, like, you know, because I could sell things sometimes. So I consider like both points of view. I'm really like I'm kind of California laid back.
Wait a minute. Did he just say as a shopper?
Yeah.
When you told me that, so I said to myself, this motherfucker better not be stalking us. Better not be stalking Stella, because
he doesn't even know my name though. Okay.
Maybe Stella, this unknown person who has never seen you is hiding somewhere in California and possibly watching wherever you go.
I don't think so, but I mean, like you're right. You should always keep your wits about you and don't, you know, give anything away that could get you stalkers. But that's true. But I'm just saying because this person is a seller, he only like remember this one time before. I think he had sold a lot, and I missed it because I was sleeping. But what happened was that person like returned it, and but with the pieces taken out, and it gave him bad feedback, had to get refunded. He's in all this money. So he's a seller. And then he looks at me whenever I buy them. I'm like, I give feedback right away. Thanks. And so I end up buying a lot from him. And then I wrote him. I didn't know it was him until eventually I figured out. And I said something like, yay, I got it this time. Like, I'm so happy, or something like, I missed it last time I was asleep. And I think he ended up writing me these like, oh, well, next time I'm going to tell you before I list it, okay? And he ended up doing that and doing it like just like this is a reserved listing because he didn't want that to happen again, like with that other person. Because he's picking out through like, well, he might go to like, I know he likes the Goodwill bins, the outlet, so called. But I think he does flea markets. He does like garage sales. He's kind of an all around like a reseller. But his eye, while he's out there, knows that he has a customer that like pantyhose, lingerie. She's kind of a wild girl. She has fans like, well, OnlyFans. That's why he printed that OnlyFans stuff. So, so now he's like grabbing things for us, and because he knows that it may have a problem, but he doesn't need to panic about it. Because I'm not really, I told him, I said, you know, I use this for like photo shoots, so that doesn't have to be, I like that things that are different, things that are unique, that not everybody has. And he's like, okay, I get that. So anyway, that's what's happened. That I knew this, yeah, this makes sense. This was like 2 days ago, because that's why yesterday I went to see if that necklace was real, because I wanted to see if it was, that I could get the money back from the lot, because I had bought another one. Didn't happen, but that's okay. I did go to the thrift and I found a purse, and I'm hoping I can sell that and that will make up for it. So that'll be good. But what else did I get at the thrift? Oh, I got this at the thrift yesterday. It's just a vintage like grandma sweater.
Um,
I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. I mean, I'm really sorry. I'm mentally.
No, Stella. I'm just thinking on what to say.
Okay.
Like, when you told me this, I'm saying to myself, okay, she has had a lot of stuff from people that she knows on this live stream. She has stuff from Gail. She has stuff from from Gerald, from Terry. And I know this, and I know, God. Yes, it's waiting for a gift from me. I know.
You are a gift. You are God's gift to all of us. You are a precious angel.
But this one person who keeps on thinking that giving you all this stuff, and he doesn't even know who you are.
I'm buying it from him. I'm paying for it. I'm a customer. It's a selling relationship. That's all he knows. But when you deal, like if you try reselling things, and you deal with customers, sometimes it can be you want to like give up. Like anyone who's worked in retail, like if you have somebody like me that's pretty laid back, you keep them. That's all that it is. It hasn't given it to me. I pay for it. Yeah. I wouldn't accept it.
You met this person?
No. It's sometimes when you're buying things online, like on eBay, you can write them. Like if they have like a thing for wrestling, and you could say, "What year is this WWE belt?" Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of everything, I bought some DVDs from eBay.
Yeah, and they worked.
Yeah, they worked.
And then you gave good feedback.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you wanted to write them and be like, "Oh, hey, is this DVD included in that?" Like that's it. That's the only rating. That's it. It's just. I don't know this person. I don't have interest in this person. First of all, the only reason I talk to this person is for you guys, for us to have more fun, and it makes it easier on me, for me to not have to go to LA and search and all this, and because he has fun doing it, we get a good deal. That's it.
Stella, that black spread and that one that you're sitting on.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
The Barbie one that I'm on?
Yeah.
This one I got a while ago, but because I had the black pantyhose on tonight, these are vintage, so you could see like the colors kind of like is not like pulled up all the way, but they're very soft. They're from like, you know, when you get a package and it has like it's very dated, like the model is very like late 80s, early 90s, like shoulder pads, like business lady. Yeah, just like a beige business lady with like a skirt to like the knee.
Yep. Ever since I saw you, every time it's like we just have to like go back to the early 2000s when the OOTD of you started.
Early 2000s? No way. This was a little kid in school.
Yeah, but like, and like your house was just a little bit empty until it started to grow.
Yeah, grow with a horde. Well, yeah. But you know what? I'm working on that, but it can feel like a cycle that I try to break of like, but I know it's not just like a hamster on a wheel, because if I just stopped, then things would get worse, you know, because I do a lot of cleaning, I do take care of things, but I think I have to find a way to like start to maybe see more progress in that regard. But at the same time, I'm thinking maybe like I would love to have my sister come stay with me and help me out, because I think that it's very hard to do things on your own. It's very hard to do something like this on your own. You know, and I don't have anybody to be like, so let's donate this.
Yeah,
I felt like, you know.
You did used to have someone help you out.
I feel like if
you used to have an ex-boyfriend.
No. Can you stop? If I'm saying if my sister came, I could have another perspective, and then I could say, oh, like they could ask you a question, and having that to go off of, because when you get caught up in your own mind, you can get really stuck there, just kind of like in the same cycles of things that you repeat to yourself. And I think I'm a little bit stuck with that, but at the same time, I didn't lose my mom that long ago. I'm thinking I really need to go make sure I set up with a psychiatrist. I need to get a new doctor because my other doctor's moving to Los Angeles, and because I think that there has to be more help for me than what I have right now with my medicine. Because I know that I have a depression, and
let me tell you something, Stella. You may think that you don't have help, and knowing that help you, yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me. It's not just the other people on this live stream. Mm-hmm. There is one person who is helping you every single day, and you know who I'm talking about.
Jesus
Christ.
Time for a prayer. And pray for Dwight's brother.
Jesus Christ will always be there for you. Jesus. Pray for who?
Pray for Dwight's brother. He's sick.
Oh, yeah. Now this prayer is for you, Dwight's brother, and I said to myself, I'm gonna add this person in there too. Neighborhood Legal. This prayer is for you too. Lord, I'm sending this prayer out to Stella, Dwight's brother, and Neighborhood Legal. These are three people who I respect, who I love, and neighborhood legal. We are getting along. Back then we used to have our differences, but right now we are both now getting along for the last years. That I haven't been blocked. I haven't been banned by him because I was on my best behavior.
You are in a good mood now that your kitchen is made over. You just want to lavish in the luxury of a new kitchen, don't you?
Mm-hmm. And
luxuriate. This is broken.
Wait for Dwight's brother to get well soon. And as for Estella, just keep her strong, love her, and everything else. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Now one of two songs. Now, Stella, I'm just singing this one because I love the song. No, I'm not singing this song because of a certain individual. I'm not gonna tell you the name, but let me just tell you, when I'm in this thing, I'm in this thing because I'm looking at Stella, and I'm looking at me, and I'm looking at everybody, and I feel like this is a personality, a cult of personality.
Is that a clue? Legal. I wouldn't hear the end of it. I would.
Looking back, what do you see? A cult of personality. I know you ain't love. I know you dream. I get everything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Infinity. I'm the ghost of personality. The ghost of personality. The ghost of personality. We are not moving wild than a PFC. Than a fiction now. We won't have to follow me. Only you can set me free. Woo! I did do this on the fourth day. They archive.
Archive. What does that mean? You bookmarked it?
No. It's a song I sang before.
Yeah.
Some just got in my eye. You know, I have never seen a wrestling game like this.
Wrestling theme?
I've never seen one. You know what?
You can sing whatever you want, both.
I think I did that one, even though the statue was sort of
You're in a wrestling mood. Who was that guy that died? Sheik? You know that guy? Sheik?
the Iron Sheik.
Sheik.
The Iron Sheik.
Were you a fan?
No.
No.
because this guy was a villain like crazy. He always says, "Hero, Russia, #1, USA,
You're number one.
Okay, here's the second song. Now, even though this group is in the doghouse right now, but I'm down with that day one. Ooh, shows!
Who's in the doghouse?
Woo! Day one, down serious. Day one, down serious. Day one, we be down with down right there. Okay.
This sounds very wrestling.
It's kiddos. Paranoia. It's the Uso. Yep. Woo. Bounce it. Day one, when we bounce it.
A sweater.
When we bounce it. Day one,
Sweater.
we be jumping all up.
Underwear.
Down like this.
Menstrual pad. Wow. I can see the pad there. I have a bottle of water. Look at them.
The Usos.
Are you having fun?
You're pretty. You're so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Like I said, you're pretty. You're so pretty. You alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm like not the greatest.
Hey, you stay strong, okay? We're here for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad that I have you guys. It's been a hard time, you know?
But we get through those hard times. Y'all do.
I know, like losing my mom and you losing your grandma, but we're still here and we're still fighting on. We're tough. This life is hard. All right, well, let's see if I have any other callers, but I love you so much. Thank you for singing. So on this folded piece of paper, hello. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so I wanted to say this folded piece of paper, it's a picture of my mom. I can't show it on OnlyFans because she was a little girl, but I wanted to show you and say it's folded down the center. But she was because like I said, my mom was Native American. And they were raised Catholic. So this was from, I don't know, like when she was little, she would have to, she always looked like this her whole life. She always looked so sad like that. Probably I like that too, but she hated church, going to church. She hated all the way they treated girls and all like the rules. Like I just remember that because we weren't raised to go to church except for like on Easter. And I think that was like a family thing. I used to like that because we go to Ponderosa, and when you're a little kid, and like the first time you go to a buffet, and you're like, it's like, what? This food I can eat this, and they have like potatoes and ice cream, like like a fatty like me, it's like, oh my god, give me all the things. But so she always had this like Catholic, like she always had this religious belief. She believed in God. And I remember her praying sometimes, like for me, I feel like pretty gosh. But where's my water? It's hard for me to look at my mom because she always looks so sad. She was like, as a child, she was like picked on. She was bullied by brothers. Like when I said like, because you know Doyle in the book he picked cotton. My mom, she picked like tobacco when she was a kid, so that she would have like new clothes for school and get made fun of. But my grandma, like, she kept all the money for her gambling, and my mom didn't get any of the money. And she was bullied, so that's how she met my father's, because she always said this, that like, you know, when a woman, a girl, they have like a low self-esteem, probably the same for a man. Like she ended up with like the first guy that made eyes on her, like the first guy that was nicer. Not really nice, obviously. Like he killed 2 of her babies, and he was so abusive. I must have been tough because I still made it out alive, but she got involved with him because, like I said, she was treated so bad by my grandma and by everybody else growing up that she was able to meet my father, who's like such a mean man, and that's all that's all I know about him. I never met him except obviously. Well, I would say when I was a baby, I mean, he never held me, but I must have been aware that he was around a little bit before he ran away. But that's it, just to be a presence to be afraid of. But so it's hard for me to look back, but I feel like I just wanted to for a second because you're here with me live, and I'm just sitting here alone. Because it's like when I said about getting another like a psychiatrist, the shaking, I'm afraid of ending up like in the hospital again. Like last summer, I'm afraid of like what direction like I could go in if it like you start falling and I can't grab like my way out. So I've just been trying to do whatever I can to like keep my head over the water, So that's a little bit of like with the shaking. I think that my mentally, emotionally, physically just got overwhelmed. And I think that's why I feel a little bit better that I know like I have my period. Because something to explain the added weakness. And I maybe when I talk to my sister, I'll feel like a little bit better or something. And it was nice just talking to Liz the other day when I saw her. I asked her how her daughter was, because her daughter was getting bullied at school. And she's like, oh, she sounds tall. And I said, I was taller than my mom. And she said that I said, do you guys see The Little Mermaid? And she's like, I wanted to see it. Oh, I saw that with my daughter, but I'll see it again. Like, I want to, like, and I said, oh, yeah, I don't have anyone to go to a movie with, but I wanted to see it. She's like, she said that she had this, because she said she went to the Cinemark that's near my house. It's supposed to be like a nice theater, and she has like some like pass that's like you get like 30% off of like popcorn or snacks, and you get like one free ticket a month, but she goes on Tuesdays. So I think just seeing her, like something like that could be good for me too. It's not as easy as it seems. I think some people will just be like, oh, just go to this. Just like do that. Like it's not that easy for me. Some things that seem easy, it can be really hard for some people. Like some days getting out of bed, taking a shower. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like, well, at least my hair is clean. Anyway, how are you doing? Jerry?
Well, I'm trying to get trying to keep up with it all. Between my work and
I don't want a therapist though, just psychiatrist.
then with the insurance situation.
The insurance still, yeah.
And like you said, it's hard for me to do business with people trying to complete my transactions and stuff.
Yeah. Because your internet is like sketchy too. That doesn't help.
And the pressure is like on the deadline. It usually is this time of summer. That I got it.
Liz was saying that like she's all having car problems too. And she doesn't have any money, and it's just like really hard for her. I said, well, I don't know. I said to her, because she had to get her car fixed. She said, oh, she said, because that was about the moving, and she's like, but I can't this weekend because I have to get my car something. And she's like, it's always something with my car. And I said, oh, and it's so expensive nowadays. She's like, oh my God. And she was went on like the car stuff. Um, I feel like the car stuff has gone up so expensive the last few years to now. That's like insane.
Like almost like about 100 more ads here. But I'm just trying to go with the flow. Try that strength. Get myself back on to what I've been trying. You know, push this bird thing.
Okay. Okay. I have an idea. Okay. So just first try to like breathe slowly in through your nose and then out like a few times. Like, I'll do it with you. And I think there's a technique like with the military. I don't know if you count back from 5, like 5, 4, 3. Yeah, they used to do it like commercial class. So they could be like out in with the good, out with the bad energy. It helps your processes like, we exist on like air and water. You remember that book that I read about breathing and you actually lose weight through your breath? That was so wild.
Yeah. I could heard something like that. Yeah.
So, and I think like that's what I did even this morning. Like I was having a hard time, but I did what I said I did yesterday, which is tell myself like to get in a good mood at the beginning of the day. And you could do it again right now. Be like, okay, this is your job right now to like get yourself somehow in a good mood. So I told myself, I was like, okay, well, okay. It's embarrassing, but no, it's not because, okay, you ever see somebody gets like some illness and they say, oh, like 1 in a million people have this. Usually it's less. It's like 100,000, and that's a lot. Like, I mean, that's a lot of people that only one person you can feel so unlucky. But the thing is, they don't say, oh, all the other 999,000 people, they're in perfect health. The way I feel is like everybody has something. They either will have it or maybe they do and don't know it yet. So if I sit there in bed or right now, because we're doing it right now, I could say, okay, so my back hurts. Yeah, because you know what? You have your period. It's a natural thing, being a woman. But some people have cancer. Some people have, a lot worse pain because I feel everybody has something. That's what we have in life. That's life. That's part of the gift. Congratulations, you're alive, but you can't expect that you would just have perfect health. So, okay, here's my things. We all have our things. And that made me feel better because to see how where I was lucky. We are not, I'm not the most sickest person, the most in pain person. I have some pain. My house is messy, but it's not as bad. People have it worse. And it makes you feel a little more grateful, feels better. Um, and then I just start counting around things that I'm happy to have. It's my home, I say, because where I grew up it was so unsafe. And I have a particular affinity for people that grow up in or live in especially the kids that are living in dangerous places just due to no fault of their own, just being poor. Um, And that's where I come from. So having the safety, it's why, like, I think in part I'm such a homebody and have this anxiety, but I do have a home to stay in and some modicum of safety, and that's what I wanted my whole life. So um that puts me in a good mood to have that, but that's for myself. That's, I just a typical one I go to. It's easy, like, it could be like, if I like my hair that day, which usually I don't. Daryl says that he likes my hair when I wake up, and I'm like, I'm like, no, it's not. Anyway, but whatever it is, but it can be very easy, and you can start like that, and it puts you in a better mood. Like, it's really great. I am alive, and you know what? Like, because it can have positive inertia to keep going, happy things. And because it can be easy to have negative inertia where it's like, man, my back hurts, and I lost my mom, and I lost my channel, and all that. Like, and I know, and life is really hard. But try with the positive, like with the car, like, at least you didn't get in like an accident, and just where things could be worse, because they always really could be worse.
Yeah, I try to avoid accidents.
And I read that actually I just saw today that accidents are up.
I see. Yeah. But people who cuts me off and stuff, I try not to get into it. But those could be the same people that get into accidents. Like I've seen before, when I had to stop, because my car was backing out of this drive-through
Mm.
or drive-in or something.
Yeah.
And the blue van, the blue truck blew a horn at me, and then got around me and got in front of me, and I was thinking, you see what I think he's gonna stop. This dude didn't stop. He didn't crash into that. He didn't crash, and when he crashed, the back of the wheel went up and hit another car that was going the opposite direction. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Everybody got up and started stating information. But
I mean, Daryl sees accidents in his driving that have been so bad, and sometimes he showed me, and he'll take photos, and he'll be like, "This is what I mean when I say, like, I pray, and I know that God keeps me safe because I've been doing this for years, and I'm sure a lot of it's like skill and everything, but also it's like those people, it could have been you, and
I think I've only seen one fatality.
but it happens every day.
Actually, going back to the channel.
I saw a guy, like, I was coming home from like the grocery store. Where was it? The grocery store, or what's this? The box. This is the last time I was out, and he was on a motorcycle. And what do you call it, Terry? Like when you go up on like one wheel, and it was like really loud and wind, and it was like really fast, like on one wheel, go.
There. I don't know if it was like off a wheelie or something.
Anyway, I could see his butt, his fat butt. His pants were down his whole ass. But there, you can see from back there. But those, to me, like, they look so dangerous. Like, to me,
There was a time when I did want a motorcycle.
like, I would say I don't see how you could be with a man who willingly puts himself in that much danger. And I feel like it's part of guys, like remember I was saying in the book, like, you guys have it in you to be like little brats, little boys that like to make mischiefs. But like the really dangerous fields, you know, like working for Blackwater and like guarding the mines in Iraq or whatever, like living in mines and stuff. Like that's how could you like be, especially with my level of anxiety, and someone you love is in that level of danger, you know? Then you guys might be like, well, that's how guys are. No, imagine if the like it was the wife. Like imagine if you had a wife and she was like a police officer, but like in a very dangerous area, very dangerous what do they call it? Beat. You might be like, yeah, this actually is not fun. This is actually not good. Although it's not that I think women shouldn't be police officers, but honestly, when I see them like getting beat up and stuff, and guys like easily able to like take them on, like it's like I don't know. I feel like some jobs that could be really dangerous because yeah, it's like even like as a security guard, like I feel like I just don't feel like I would make a very good security guard. Also, in the sense that I feel like people would try stuff with me, like they would try to be like, "I'm not afraid of you. I'm going in. Do you want to get assaulted?" You know. But I feel like if I was a security guard, I mean, I don't really know anything about the profession, but I just think that if I was, you guys would be worried about me every night. Could you imagine on OnlyFans? I'm like, all right, I got a part-time job now as a security guard. You guys would show up and watch me in the car, and you would be my security guard of the job. You're being in your car watching good popcorn. You'd be texting, are you okay? Have you ever had a dangerous job? I was going to say they don't pay enough, but I found out. I think I saw something at the Dollar General had like 12 murders or something, like violent robberies and stuff, because they can be in areas where there's like a lot of poverty and people are desperate.
I have worked a night shift at a hotel.
Oh, yeah? And you got some sketchy people? My mom worked at a hotel.
Yeah.
Before I was born.
This happened right after I left. And like the next time I came in, I ended up having. I guess I came in the morning or something. I had somebody told me, well, my supervisor told me that they found they found some blood on the door and had to clean it up. There was a robbery that happened, and the person got assaulted.
Oh my God. Yeah, Paley, because the secure retail jobs. I did used to worry at Jack in the Box at night. I did used to worry. Like,
I was a dishwasher. And I did a night shift. But
I saw a story. I was on Twitter, and it was like about some. Sorry, I'm gonna yawn. I need my coffee. Although when I'm yawning a lot during the day, I looked it up and I found out because I do it more with the shaking. That it's. I think this is also part of my back pain. So it's scary, but I feel like my spinal and vagus nerve, or I feel like my spine gets like twisted because from like the shaking and the contortions, that I think it's caused pain, and I'm hoping not severe damage, but I think that there's something going on with that and the anxiety that causes the yawning. Anyway, I can't be the only one that's had that, but I have that. But anyway, okay, so I said on Twitter, there was like an ice cream shop in, where was it that there was like some protest there where people like set up like an encampment or something, and they called it like Chaz. This was like years ago, I think. But actually, you know what? Let me. I mean, I'll just look it up really quick. So this lady, I think it's a lady that they have the ice cream place. Okay, Molly Moons sues Seattle over losses, damage during 2020 Capitol Hill organized protests. Oh, CHOP. Okay. So people were saying, oh well, this is a liberal, and oh they said they supported that. It's like, listen. Do you really think if somebody is in the middle of any kind of like, okay, so let me put it this way. Say that there was a bunch of crazy ladies protesting because they discontinued like their favorite Beanie Baby, and they're like the blue bear with the purple curly hairs, and they're like, fuck you, and they got like bricks and like with like dog poo on them, and they're throwing them through windows, and they're like lighting Molotov cocktails. They're like, we will burn the city down. Okay, and it's like everything's in flames, and like there's these crazy old ladies that's like, give us the bees. Now you're gonna stick on the window of your ice cream store, we support the crazy beanie ladies. Definitely wish they would bring back that stupid bear, right? Am I right? Yeah, don't burn us down. Like, I don't think you could take that as a sign of genuine support on either way. Like, most people, they pretty much want to stay out of things. Like, they don't have time to follow every detail of everything. They're probably like, okay, these people have grievances. I support them. Because what else are you going to even say? They might but of course, I think they have every right to be like, yeah, you should have, like, they put us out of business. You should have protected us. It was not our job as an ice cream shop or whatever. I'm basically saying, when you say like retail stores, you're in danger. I feel like when I was in the Jack in the Box, I would have gone along with stuff too. Like, if somebody came in and they're like, you know what? I fucking hate Native Americans. I could be like, yeah, man. Like, if you're, what are you gonna say? Like, if you're afraid, or if they're like, even if I am, it's like, yeah, man. Or, you go along with things. So I used to just like smile a lot, and in any mood that a person was in, I'm their best friend, because you do that when you're as a form of self-defense. And I don't understand how people, I mean, I do understand how people, if they're not in that situation, really understand. But if you ever saw anything with like hostage situations, like, yeah, that's kind of how you act. Well, that's basically how people have to act in their day-to-day life sometimes, dealing with people. Like, they're basically a hostage. Or maybe that's just what it's more like if you're a woman, or, you know, generally. What?
Somebody come up with me some crazy stuff like yelling up, be like, okay. I'd be like mostly quiet and just be like, everything just calms down after. Like this dude at the bus stop yelling about some woman upsetting him or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just be looking like I'm tired or bored or whatever. Like, whatever. It just, and apparently he stopped.
Yeah.
And going about his business.
Have you ever seen like a guy or a group of guys like hassling a lady? Like, and you feel as a guy like you should step in? I've had guys talk to me when I was crying.
Yeah.
I've had guys talk to me like to ask me if I was okay. Like, if somebody like was bothering me. And I've had women too be like, are you okay? Like, yeah, because like, I cry.
A teenage girl came up to me asking me to pretend that I know her as niece because the old man was coming up to her and trying to get her to get in come to the car with her. I played along. I played along with it and everything, and dude pulled up asking if are you okay and everything, and I was like, yeah, she's okay. She's working, you know, I'm her uncle. And he drove off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was into that.
Guys, like, you can't be the protectors of the species because some people take advantage. Like Daryl was telling me. Daryl told me, you know, that angels or Jesus or something, he's like, angels, they could be among us. They could be like homeless people. And then he said, so he gets money to homeless people. But then he also said that this lady, it was really horrible. She had like a baby with a dirty diaper. That I think that it was, and the baby was like sick. Like, and she was like, please, I need money. And like, and he couldn't imagine that she was fibbing, because who would put their own baby to get filthy like that? But it turned out that, yeah, she was like a scam, and a guy picked her up, had like a nice car. She's like, ew, like you use your own baby as a prop to torture your own baby to get money. Like, I don't know. But some moms are like that. I mean, some really.
Yeah, I heard so.
When it comes to child abuse, I think it's about equal men and women. Like, it's not, women can, you know, neglect their kids. So, but and I was like, so you think that she could have been an angel? And he's like, no. But she was taking advantage of Daryl just wanting to be like protect a baby, like, and this woman like, okay, like to help out, you know. And I think that a lot of you guys are like that. Like, you feel like you should help, but then I worry, like, I just hate when I see good people and then they get like stabbed to death, or they get like, damn, that sucks. Some people are so cold, and you never know who you'll encounter, I guess, if they're a stranger. But you want to believe like we're all like innocent in a sense, you know. But some people are in a bad place, and they can be like feral. But I do feel generally people are innocent. I feel that people are generally people are good for the most part. So I wish you could just trust everybody that you won't get stabbed to death, but then it's like, it could be tough out there.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back, I could have, the one that she didn't know me, but she asked me to help her. She just got raped.
I used to feel safer if there were men around. Like, if I felt I was being followed and I go into like a Dunkin' Donuts and sit there, and the men could be like, don't be bothering that girl. Like, yeah. I know. I just hear, because in some places, like, I see people say, like, on Twitter, if you see people fighting, like, sometimes over a woman, you don't need to get involved because you could get hurt, you know, because you don't know those people. But, yeah. Oh, but a lot of times women will interfere, and women will get hurt too. A lot of times, I think older women will try to still look out for younger girls if they can. But they're not always in the same situation. But you can see that somewhat sometimes too. Like, I had a bus driver lady that would look out for me, and she was nice, but you never know. Guardian angels all around. I always wanted to be like a really like tough chick like in my mind that could just like, and I can be when I'm nuts. That's the thing, because I'm so like fucked up crazy in a I don't want to say a mania because that's like a genuine term. I'm not bipolar, but when I'm in like a fuck it all, I'm so depressed, I'm so mad right now, like I could yell at you because like, I don't really care what happens to me, you know. And I've had that happen with like women. I've had that happen with people and be like, what are you staring at? Like some lady be like, why are you staring at me? And like in a general situation, I might feel that way. But I almost wish I could be like that just all the time and be like, yeah, bitch, what? But I have my moments. But part of me wishes like I could just always be that person that's like, let's talk about this. Like, I think I could come out a little, you know? Like, I like my moments of domination, like filling my power. Because generally I'm not really like that. I feel like more afraid. Like I have my guns, and I feel. When I was a kid, I used to, you know, when you're a kid and you can't really say things to adults, but you can say them in your head and you know what you would say. And I always had like a better answer than I was like I couldn't say, like you know, like you don't correct the adults when I get like a word wrong or something. But like there was that, you know, and then when you know you're kind of like becoming like a teenager and you start to talk back a little bit like, yeah, I'm not that stupid or whatever. So sometimes like you just want to argue. Like I almost wish I had it in me, like the world was safe enough that you could sometimes, but not really like that. I feel like Pale could be like that. Like he's calm, but I feel like Pale will genuinely, if you piss him off enough, will fight. Will like verbally fight you. Terry, I don't know. Daryl would. Because he talks, I've heard him talk to people. Does he record videos and stuff for me? And he'd be like, hold on a second. He's calm like here, but he could be like, oh.
I try to be like shallow and stuff. At the same time, as I'm being nice to whoever's being, you know, to being some dude that's actually trying to start something. I can think of ways of using that defense. But you know, I try to stay calm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel from you. I can't even imagine you losing your shit. You, Dwight, such a calm energy. Daryl, I can. Pale, I can. I feel like Terry, you know, because when I envision Terry, I feel like those scrappy fuckers, like in the Power show, like the British guy that actually was named Terry, and they'll go scrap. That reminds me of Terry. I feel like you won. But yeah, Arthur. Let's see. Would Arthur? I feel like Arthur could be chill, but if he's gonna, he will snap. I feel like he's liable to snap if you push him too far over the edge. Like chill. That's it. So some people you don't know. It's touch and go.
I don't want to. I end up like that.
You will not, Arthur. I've seen you snap. You know you can snap. What if someone started fucking with your mom? Like, what if you're out with your mom and someone started picking on her or something? You could snap. You could be chill, but I feel like you could. You'd be like, get the fuck away from my mama. Some people can.
Yeah, I was like that one time, and I was then I think back, and then I felt like I felt regretful about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying, thinking I should have handled the situation better.
I wonder if as you get older, like when Pale said, I suffer no assholes. Like, I remember Dita Von Teese saying that about some designer. Like, he truly suffers no fools. Like, he won't even be around if he doesn't like a person. But you get more and more like that, where, like, you know how they say, like, older people, like, they'll just say whatever they want. Like, you're less afraid, I guess. Like, you feel more licensed to, like, relax in the world and spread your arms out and say what you want.
Yeah, sometimes, other times I feel like I wish I had to.
That's what I'm saying, Arthur, of anger. That's how it is. Like, you ever hear that crimes of passion? And it'd be like a person snaps. Like, we all have that in us to get to a certain point of anger and how far people can take it and what they're willing to do. Like, as mad as you've been, that moment of passion, that, like, outside of that happening, you know, when they say, like, typically it's like catching your wife in bed with another man and you fucking lose it and, like, you beat the hell out of him or something. Like, you're in this rage, this moment of, like, the fuck are you doing on my wife? Especially if it's like your best friend.
Or you can watch a show with lovely baby likes to read.
Aww. Yeah, you catch me in bed with someone. They're raping me. Help me. Call the police. Yeah, I share my bed with Rex and Fila, and they take up most of it. They're my protectors. All right, I should probably take another call, but thank you for chatting. I love you so much. Okay, the line is open. You go to another place. Yeah, exactly. Hello.
Hey, girlfriend.
I knew you were gonna call. Now, did you decide that you were gonna call me tonight because your mom's not around, or only because you saw that I have new boots and you like them?
Mom's not around. You
Okay.
know, you know the routine. I can't yell and act like a fucking maniac when she's here.
Do you don't talk to anybody, or just like I'm in a special category of like perverts or something? I feel like I'm just a garden variety pervert. I'm not like I'm not that crazy. So I wanted to ask you something. It's important.
Yes, I would be your sub.
But besides that, did you hear Kesha's new album?
No, because I've been like out of everything for the last 6 weeks.
Out of everything? You mean like internet?
Oh no, just in life.
Oh.
When mom's home, that's my primary focus.
Oh, but that's nice though.
Okay.
Your mom. Well, I'm just saying, because my mom's gone. So I think I'm still in that, like, oh, you're lucky. You're like, really? I have to jerk off in dead silence in the bathroom.
Oh no, I do it at the time I get up now, about between 4 and 4:40 in the morning, depending on the day, and I also do it when I get home.
You know what? It's good for your health. It's
good for my prostate.
It's me time. It's pleasure time. It's very good. But you did like the boots, don't you?
Yeah, I would love to just hold them and just rub them on the feet.
I'm just like, that's a whip sound of a cat woman. I don't know why I did that. What was your story? Story time.
So it actually involves boots.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I was on, this is 2009, and it was between Christmas and New Year's. And I went to the strip club, and there's like this stripper with the perfect boots on. So literally for like,
I thought he said the shrimp club, and I was like, wait, there's strippers at the they didn't.
it's a strip club.
I know, but I thought you said shrimp, like the shrimp cocktail.
Oh no, I just can't. Yeah, but literally, I asked her. I have a boot fetish. Would you just please put your boots on my lap, and I just rub them? So I basically was this, 2009. Didn't really have red tube, you just stuff like that. But it was like these are perfect. These were in the flesh, and so like literally for like half hour, 45 minutes, I was just rubbing these gorgeous latex boots, the shaft, the fucking.
This is your story. You were rubbing these boots.
Yes, at tether.
Well, I don't know. Do you really have a boot fetish as much as like you saw Pretty Woman and it imprinted on you that easy women wear boots, that women that you have vaginal access to wear boots?
It's like literally if I hear the clacking of heels, I'd be like a dog.
Boots,
like a dog,
sex. Boots, sex.
Heels.
Squirrel?
Heels.
Squirrel? Squirrel?
It's like that dog on Up.
Yeah.
Every time I hear the clacking of heels, what kind of heels are they? Are they the perfect platform? Are they latex? Are they the classic pump that are leather? Oh.
Okay. I'm just thinking. So it was a strip club. Did they have poles?
Yeah, it's just Google it. It's a franchise called Deja Vu.
But I'm just wondering because I have a stripper pole.
It's like
I feel like, is it easier or harder to do them with boots? I mean, because I guess the boots could stick like that. The powder you have for your hand, the grip. But because like around your knees, you're supposed to put around like with the pole. I don't know. I'm doing this in pantyhose because the panties would just slip right down. But you know where you have the grip on your leg. So I feel like the boots. I feel like even at the ankle, I don't know if they would stick to the pole. Like, yeah, like you probably do some like floor dancing or something. But I wonder if you could pole dance if they were that high as mine are.
Yeah,
maybe if they're
kind of depends. It also kind of depends on your experience on the brass pole.
Well, I'm just thinking like. I'm okay. I'm thinking of like this must have been like on HBO that had something about strippers once. So this had to be like years ago when I would have seen this. And I just remember like they would tan a lot, but this could be like an older thing that they replayed.
Probably like real sex.
And they always had the fake, the plastic, like the transgender boobs. And yeah, but they would, and I think that, but I will say, I feel like, though I met a stripper once and I told you about this person, Alicia, like I told you stories about her, like that she was my friend's friend. she had like, because her twins had the stretch marks, so she would always wear like the corsets. But then she tried to do this thing on this like retarded guy, and anyway, it was a whole thing. Um, but I feel like, how do I say this? There's can be like a lot of like shame in like showing your body, like from women to other women or even men to women and whatever. So I feel like in order to like try to subvert that, a lot of typically women will say like that they make a lot of money. And that's usually what they'll say. It's like, but I make a lot of money. But I feel like that's to make yourself feel better because of the shame. Like you feel like it needs to be like a just like payment for it. Like, okay, they did this, but they have money.
Well, it's also like, well, if I can rub on if this guy can, I can rub on this old guy and makes cummies in his shorts.
Cummies. Howard Marshall.
So if I can make this old man cummy in his pants, and I can make $60, I can make extra tips. He'd probably bring flowers. He'd probably be a regular now.
Regular, yeah.
Really, is it really? It's probably better when you're younger than working at McDonald's. I would say. But even like to get tip, probably not tip as more of as a waitress, but you gotta give up. God gave you, and pull on until you make it, or something like that.
I just would say I don't think that everybody really makes as much money as they say sometimes, like in that documentary show or whatever that they were saying. Maybe, to have like those fake boobs and everything. And I'm not saying this like of shaming anyone. I'm just saying like, my thinking is as far as like with stripping, because I've been shamed for not stripping, for not prostituting myself. Like if I was you, I don't, like I don't do that. I never have done that stuff. But like, I feel like in my photos and stuff, comfortable with my body. Like I feel like I'm a model. Like I'm an actress. Like you, like starting from that place, you naturally have a comfort even when you're signing with an agency. If you're comfortable like with nudity and things like,
also these chicks may also work off the books, so to speak. So
off the
the guy would be like, hey, bachelor party, hotel. I give you, $2,000 for like 3 hours of work. He meets, right on some old guy and making cummies in his pants.
Oh, you know what surprised me was like how much money that the girl made on that documentary. Have you seen it on Hulu, where it was the Sarah Lawrence cult, where this dad wasn't her dad, it was someone else's dad, and he had them in this cult. But anyway, it led to this woman prostituting herself to give this guy money. But she had like these high-end clients that one of them was like a judge or whatever, but she was in like a BDSM, like she was getting like abused and she was like anorexic and all this, but she was giving the guy, because they found that she had funneled him all this money, millions of dollars. I was like, holy shit, what? So I'm sure like some people, like they can make a lot of money, I guess, especially like you're right, if it's off the books. But
that reminds me real quick. Nickelback, yes, that's Nickelback. Which by the way will be playing in Bloomington next weekend, but that's besides the point. They have a song on their Dark Horse album.
Look at this photograph.
Yeah, exactly. They actually have two. Like that's a really good album, but I'm straight to my point. So on the Dark Horse album, they have a song called "Shaking Hands," and it's literally about a girl shaking her ass, prostituting herself. Even there's like a line in the song. Even the judge paid for her chest. It's like it's for. I know it is Nickelback, but they also have a song called "Sex" too. Like I think it's like the next track over. So there's something to look into that.
Anyway, I was just because your story was this positive. I feel like it was a positive experience that you're recounting with this. I want to say stripper, but really, I mean this pair of boots. And I was wondering from your perspective if it made a difference to you what you felt about the woman, like if she enjoyed these boots or she enjoyed doing this with you, or if you kind of build up a fantasy, or how that works from the male perspective. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I was 23. I was working security. I was lonely, and I was like, I was very appreciative for her time and letting me do this.
Oh.
I honestly, I'd rather hang out with a stripper. I think they're, I'd rather have a chit chat with a stripper. I can really just talk to a stripper and then, then some girl at the bar, because girl at the bar, it's kind of a landmine. You never know.
Well, you don't know where they work. The other one you do.
Say again. You can't break up.
At the girl at the bar, you don't know where they work, but the stripper you do. At least
I'd be like, yeah.
There was something about you.
Yeah, and actually, I had to really stop going to set strip club, because one, I couldn't afford it, and two, I kind of had it like, I had this started getting a crush on this one. Her name was Trace, which, by the way, yeah, and that was like almost 10 years ago. I haven't been to strip club since.
How many tattoos does she have? That's what I imagine is covered in tattoos.
I remember one on her back. I swear to God Almighty, it looks like E.T. But I couldn't remember because I was this girl was so
a mermaid with boobs and Betty Page hair.
I wish
it's a common one. I think the sailor tattoo.
Like I was kind of talking dirty to her. There was a part of me that was, hey, how far can I talk to a stripper before they throw me out, right?
Mm.
And it's like, as it was like, man, you gotta remember this is like 10 years ago, so
yeah.
Something about quenching my thirst for pussy juices and shit like that. But she was like about my age, and she graduated from Auburn High School, which is like 20 minutes south of me. I was like, nice. I can't come back here. Not because I went to Auburn High, because I kind of got that
But it made you feel like she was like on your level, because you were nervous if a woman would think like she's too much above you or something. Like people say that levels. Who's on your league or what? Like, what the fuck does that mean? It's so bullshit.
Yeah,
what league are you born in?
I don't want to become that guy who falls in love with a stripper, and
isn't that a song? I'm in love with a stripper.
Yeah. There's actually a story. There's a small town, very small town, where I used to live, and they had a strip club. It basically sounds like the middle of the cornfield, and it was BYOB, and some guy got really infatuated with a stripper, drove his car car into the strip club and burn the place out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you think that I would be the type that people would fall in love with? Or once they saw me dance, they'd be like, hell no. She looks like she couldn't cook toast. And they would be right.
Literally, when you post videos of you at the market or anywhere else, I don't know how like you're not getting hit on constantly, because I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're Stanley gorgeous. Why are you here? You're gorgeous.
Why are you here? Do you say that to people?
I wish. There's actually one I said during, like, back when COVID was really rampant. Why are you're too pretty to wear that mask on?
You said that?
I wish. It's one of those loaded chamber comments I have in my head.
What are you gonna do? Do you ever think about getting older? If the horniness subsides and you wake up and you don't even like release one time a day, let alone twice. You know, what are you gonna do with yourself and all that free time? Like, what if you got offered one day to like play with like your lady's boots, or have like a nice meal, a cozy, evening in, a conversation, watch a movie, and you chose that, and what would be like, oh my god, what has become of me?
Trust me, I'm not I'm not gonna
I like the way you said that. An animal. Yeah, you are. You need to be taught a lesson.
I get the handcuffs.
Get in your cage. But like,
Trust me.
wouldn't you be like, no, because it could happen to people, like, over time your hormones change and you could calm down. And like, would you hate yourself if you weren't like constantly horny? Would you be like, I need to, what is that song? I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. Do you know that song? Arthur, you need to, oh, he's gone. You need to sing that one. That's going to be you. It's like, you're going to need to learn you. You've been to Hornyville, but you've never been to me, you know? Like, who am I if I'm not a horn dog? Who am I if I'd rather watch reruns of the Golden Girls than the adult videos from the 80s?
Well, there was like, when I turned 33, I was like, oh man, I was kind of afraid my dick would stop working, but since then I'm becoming like a 2-day habit now. So, nope.
Nope.
And that was 4 years ago, Sunday. So, no, I haven't been slowing down. Like, people my age, they're slowing down because they got kids, they got a job. You know, that kind of screws with your sexual drive. I guess because I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have kids. I can act like a primate in the zoo, stroking it like Billy Squire or Pee Wee Herman.
Primates.
You say the secret word. Ah!
Well, I'm just saying that it's an interesting concept how you can change through the course of your life and be like, oh, back when I was younger, because a lot of guys want to be like, oh yeah, when I was like in high school and I was like an animal, like you see a pair of legs and and I think like, but you know what? I was going to say it's like you're under the influence of like a drug or something, but then maybe it's like when you take a hormone replacement, it could be like that too. Because some men, they do that because they I don't know, for whatever reason, have like a deficiency or whatever. You don't seem to have that issue.
Well, also it's like some also, I don't know, like bipolar or being on on the spectrum. Chemicals in your brain kind of spurs up your sex drive, so you're constantly always horny.
Mhm.
But that's what I've been reading, because I am kind of afraid of that being the way sometimes I act and sometimes I say shit. I'm kind of afraid I'm documenting nuts.
What makes you say that? Because you
Like I had literally the other day I had a relapse.
weird thoughts.
I emotionally relapsed the other day, and it, literally bipolar. I'm afraid I'm manic, depressive or something like that, because
Ruminating.
ruminating.
No, ruminating when it's like the repeating thoughts. I've had that. Yeah.
Of course, then again, I'm by myself, and so because mom is not here,
Mhm.
I have whole it's quiet now. I'm gonna have quietness for till the 25th for a couple of days. Then
You don't like it, or you don't, or you're mixed.
It's like you're always alone with your thoughts,
Mhm.
and so that's when I mostly emotionally relapse, so to speak, and
All patterns, habits, thought habits.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
It re-loops in your brain. Yeah.
Yeah, I started looking at something that reminds me of, and it becomes I call it emotionally relapse.
Oh, because it's a emotional trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trigger is a feeling.
Although I went and tried to find a card I haven't seen in about 8 years, or 2015 is the last time I've seen this card I'm holding in my hand. And I was seeing if I was detached enough that I won't relapse. And I read the card and I was emotional, but I didn't hurry over relapse. So I got that going for me.
When you think about these certain moments that bother you emotionally, do you well, basically, maybe I should say it this way. When I left Florida, I used, there were some things that happened to me that I particularly got attached to for a long time, except when I was distracted enough, or in part of I was determined on making it. And there was certain memories I would recall of my mom embarrassing me in front of people and stuff, where how do I say? Here's an example. My mom's husband and his family, my mom would humiliate me in front of them. And even when I left that area, in the back of my mind, I would remember and replay some of those evenings and sitting there and where I sat and what they were eating and what my mom was saying and where and I wanted to redo it over. And sometimes I would envision going back there and showing everyone, and I was on the television and I was popular, in different ways in my mind. Do you feel and maybe it was to finish, this thing happened and it was not right, it didn't end right, and so it's I put it aside as one day I could go back and it's not over and I will show all of you. So do you feel when you pick up that card, the sense of something unfinished, you it's not, what's the word, there's something you feel compelled to do, or that you wish could have been different, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of the same way. I kind of lately, I want get a job so I can buy a house because I kind of I guess it has a point to it. I kind of feel that certain individuals got where they are now because they didn't want to be in a situation, so they attached. They got with somebody to make sure they are not in a particular town anymore, so they're not dependent on. They're not struggling. So, because I like to do every 5 years reevaluate my life. And 5 years is coming up in September. And it's like, okay, do I want to stay at this job where it's kind of a struggle to stay giving me pay raise, or go to like insurance and make a little bit more money, try to get a bigger house and be like
a new adventure and something fresh start.
Yeah,
and you wonder, like, do you have it in you? Because there's like a fear of starting over.
It's more, fear of starting over is more like, Christ, I gotta learn this new thing. But it's kind of like being a.
But it's kind of empowering too, that you learn a new thing, and
especially it's like insurance, and I was talking to my dad recently when I was in town. I was calling you. I mean,
in Florida.
No, actually, he came up here because my youngest niece baby shower, and she gave birth to her first kid. But I was going to sing. I wanted to show you pictures of the new baby, but I don't want to do it on only.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but anyways.
That's why I couldn't show my mom.
Yeah, and so I was like telling my dad, I worked for the state, and they're paying me real shit money, and it's kind of like they really want to stay place I like for shit money, or go somewhere else and try to make at least double what I make in a year, and probably have some nice stuff. And I was, like at the end of every school year, I update my resume. So, it's really kind of close up. Maybe I'll be wanting to get a job at insurance so I can.
You could apply though. Like, what do you got to lose? And then you could be like, if you have an offer.
I mean,
what do you got to lose? Nothing.
Exactly.
And then flip a coin, or have a stripper flip a coin, and decide.
And it's also like my friend once said to another person, "Stick with me because he's going places." And I eventually found some place, and she didn't hop on board the Dirt Nation train. Hoot hoot. And she's not here, obviously.
Yeah.
And
you have to consider it a blessing in disguise, though. You have to wait it out. It doesn't always appear right away, but you have to be patient.
Yeah, well, as I said in Bruce Almighty, and that's how the cookie crumbles.
And that's the news.
I'm Walker Clark.
Yeah.
Is totally useless. We're so fucked.
Yeah, I just feel like it could be good for you though, because you won't ruminate as much if you have like a new adventure. Because like, what stopped me was getting happy and excited about something. When you get happy and the joy and creativity of something, you forget about your problems. And you ever see that, like, the dog's like playing and running free and they don't have a care in the world. It can be like that. And so I remember I wanted to like acting, modeling. So I tried to like submit myself at different auditions and I got on like some different shows. And you're doing that, you're too busy to think about this person in that card. And then when it comes up again another 5 years or whatever, be like, oh wow, look at all I accomplished, or a different mindset. So it could be a good idea to try to get like a different job or something for your mental health, to be like, screw this person, like when I read Neon Angel, and Cherie Curry talked about, she got off like drugs and she was with the Runaways, and she was folding shirts in like a store on Melrose or something, and was like, she had this like recording contract, and she did like Foxes and stuff, and she could hear, I don't know if Joan Jett was on the radio yet, but yeah, but it's like, this is for your health. And that's like not even just like folding shirts, but it's like going back to basics of like, I'm not going to worry about this person. You're giving yourself a project of something, a new adventure to focus on, and then you can come into yourself, better.
Or it just could be like, I'm going big Star Trek reference, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like Khan on the original series. So Wrath of Khan, the movie part 2, the whole movie is about revenge. Khan wants revenge on Captain Kirk, Admiral Kirk, because he blames Kirk for leaving him stranded on a planet and forgetting about him for 17 years. Khan's wife dies, so he blames Kirk for her death, and basically it's the whole movie is kind of a revenge. Almost, it's basically Moby Dick in space.
So in this scenario, you're Khan.
No, I'm more.
And you have wrath.
I don't want to be Khan. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to be Admiral Kirk.
But like, you could also just be like one of those like slutty ladies on the planet who's like, who are these people? You don't have to be either of them.
Or I can be just Chekhov's Captain. Oh, it was horrible. They put creatures in our bodies. And meanwhile, Captain Kirk is standing there, be like, where?
And which one is Princess Leia?
That's Star Wars. Wrong show, honey.
Well, I think that you're on the right track. It's like, not unfortunately, but we're in the time that we're in. It could be like the best of time to be alive, really. But you have to deal with like the world as it is. But there's always opportunity of the time. Just you have to like, how do I say this? So much is perspective, because like, I remember talking to myself and saying like, oh, when I was like a little bit younger, or when I was like a little kid, even like I've gone through some really serious issues, but I didn't feel as bad like that I remember as other times. Like I had this pain, like say now, but like I had been really hurt when I was younger. I've been really like poor. I've been really, and I thought, but you know what? I think that could be part of it. It's because when you're really young, you have it in your mind that like, well, in the future, this or that. But so like, it's because of that I think can keep you a little bit more focused on, if you can, because sometimes it can be very emotional, but I feel like there was nothing really different except your perspective was more open to the future being good. It was a more optimistic outlook of things getting better. So if you look at yourself now, not based on like how old you are or whatever, but just based on like give yourself the freedom where if you could hypnotize yourself or something, that letter didn't matter, and you just like woke up and if you're whatever age, then I think you would take on this challenge of taking a different job or whatever, and it wouldn't all the past weigh on you like this, like it is, because it doesn't really have to. It's all kind of in your head.
Plus, I'll be 37 on Sunday. I'm still young.
Yeah, what does that matter though? What does it matter? Like, what do you? Yeah.
So
it's something you tell yourself, but it starts to become those, because like what you said about the emotional triggers, they're literally neurological pathways. Your brain literally it like carves paths in your grooves in your head, so the neurons go and they get used to it. It's like addiction. You're getting used to it. It's like the way you brush your teeth. Feed the thought, like how to do things. I'm gonna think about this woman. So sometimes people. I'm not telling you to like experiment with drugs. I'm just saying there are people who will try different things to get out of this. Sometimes just by sheer force, because you got to get a different path out. But part of these paths could be I'm going to be 37 and I'm no. Like, see it different. It's all in your head. Like, this doesn't really matter. It's just stuff that your mind did by convenience to help you, but some of it is a maladaptation. So just if you notice you're going to these like bad emotional places, that because your mind's like it's trained to be this way, you gotta really try look at something else, a different trigger, and I think a different place, a different location, a different house to distract you, a different job would be just the thing that you need, because I think that usually can help that kind of thing, because your brain's gonna have to learn something else. Where you're gonna go to the bathroom, where do you keep your toothbrush, when you go to work, who is this person, and that helps.
I have to get my bowels on get another schedule.
Yeah, but it's like medicine. Like, you'll feel better before don't be afraid of it because you think, well, we're 37. But first of all, you don't look 37. You could go to that stripper and be like, when did I see you? Was it last year? Get over here. What was her name? Tootie?
Well, it was like more than 10 years ago. She's probably a grandma by now. Who knows?
Sometimes you have to take a breath and just remind yourself, like, Joe, it's all in your head. All of this. And you'll get there. I'm sorry you had a rough week, but
yeah, it wasn't that much of a rough week. I know, but oh well, I know. But
you can look forward to my boots tomorrow night. Boots galore. I'm very excited about them. This cat's hard to see because they say con.
Hey, I guess to leave a final note on Star Trek, as Captain Kirk has said in Star Trek 5, the Final Frontier.
Live long and prospers.
Also, I need my pain too. So I guess on that note.
Talk to you later. Love you.
No.
You did that. The future is a long time. Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't. Sometimes I think, like, okay, my phone line's open, so Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Is Dwight's. Okay, so here's what I was saying. It's like with transgendered people, how give me a minute to okay. I am a woman, okay. So say I was a man like by birth, and like I'm just explaining a concept to you. Okay. So how okay, so I was a man, but I feel like I'm a woman. So but what feels the worst for me is that first of all, anyone that's tuning in now, I'm by birth a woman. You can see it on my OnlyFans, 100% woman. Hold on, I'm talking to Dwight. Okay, so but here's okay. So, but if I go out and people treat me the way they would a man, this like feels like wrong. If I'm like a transgender, like I feel like I'm supposed to be treated as a woman. But if I present myself in all the ways I can make myself to feel like I look and can present as a woman, the way that people are treating me is like it's all in your head, but that's what makes that reality. Like they're giving you the signal to your head by treating you this way, and now you feel you're a woman. It's like that's that episode of the Twilight Zone where the people look like pig faces, and they're like, "I'm so ugly," but they're like, because everyone else that's normal looks like a pig, and then like the beautiful people and handsome people, they're like, "I know we're both ugly," but it's like the twist because if you're treated that way, then you believe that you are, you know, because it's the signal. Okay. I think like with your age or whatever, it's the same way. It's how you are being treated by other people can very often give you that effect. So if you're exposed to other people and they act like being this age is this way or whatever, that the way that it can make you feel ugly or make you feel like you're a man, whatever it is, but this is wrong, you can get these negative things. And in your head, now you have, unfortunately, a belief that is limiting. So that's kind of why I was trying to tell him to like get out of this, because I could see it even in myself sometimes. Like if you wake up and you have the pain, it can be a limiting belief that you see how other people with pain are treated or whatever it is. And now you take that on as yourself as like, well, this is how this person that's similar to me is treated. And therefore I am this. So, when I say some things that are in your head and how that you can be interpreting them, it's actually, it's somewhat complex, but maybe take notice on like how much you're affected by how other people treat you. I'll give you an example. So if I think like some of you guys, like if I just tell you, like, I know I've seen, you are very cute. I know what you look like. Pale, Terry. Who am I thinking of? Oh, John. If I say like, y'all are cute, I think like just knowing that it could like change your outlook where if nobody's telling you, like actually you're very good looking. I think that because in your head, if you think, oh well, how is this guy treated? Do they think that he's like, you know, like does he look like me in this commercial and what, like you don't really know. You're trying to go through signals and like, well, this woman didn't throw her panties at me at the grocery store, so I'm probably ugly or something like. But I think sometimes just being told like, no, like you are very good looking, like it can help change because it's in your head. Yeah, like even just like when Joe was telling me just now, like, oh, you know,
It definitely has an effect on
yeah,
positive effect.
Yeah, but a lot of people, like, they're not told, so they can build up ideas. They just end up controlling them more than they ever really intended, because it's about your outlook that affects inward.
You're looking at yourself, and you look at yourself, and you're like, man, am I ugly? I'm ugly,
Oh,
Nobody
yeah.
never tells me I look good. So.
How was your brother? Did you hear anything about your brother?
I spoke to one of my other brothers. I spoke to my brother that owns the bakery.
Oh, okay.
And this morning I spoke to him. And he's pretty much no changes. He's still in a coma.
So, do you know it? Like,
So this is the one that we're talking about is the one that runs the food truck.
The food truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how he got it? A customer?
No one has told me. I spoke to my sister, one of my sisters, yesterday. My oldest sister, as a matter of fact. And no one has said how he got the sepsis. No one knows. I don't know if it was like his kidneys. Well, obviously his kidneys shut down because they had to put him on emergency dialysis. Like when they took.
That's when they change your blood, right?
They filter dialysis is when they hook you up to a machine and to fill.
Because that's what people do when they're like waiting for a transplant or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can live many a year. You can live a long time being on dialysis.
Yeah. I mean, it could be annoying, but you can, yeah.
Dialysis is not the end of your life. I mean, I know somebody that lived 15, 20 years on dialysis.
Well, the last thing I saw of it was this on Netflix, the first episode, I think, of the or maybe the second, of the NYC emergency or something, and this guy was on dialysis, and he was doing it waiting for a transplant, and he got it from his old partner, and so I could see, like, it was, yeah, but it was a lot, and he said the dialysis, it could take so long and everything, but yeah, I forgot for a second what dialysis was, but yeah, you're right, change the blood. I wonder what it's like. I'd like to talk to a person who's done it, what it feels like.
Say that again?
I said, I'd like to talk to a person who's been through it, like, or goes through it, what that it's like for them, what it feels like, if it's something you get used to, or you're just annoyed, or.
But what I don't understand is sepsis. You go through different. It has warning signs. It's not like you just get it one day and boom, you're in a coma. It has warning signs. You start feeling bad. You start feeling sick. You break out. There's like 10. I was reading. There's like 10 signs or warning signs that you have sepsis, and between those 10 warning signs, it seems like he should have knew that something wasn't right,
Sepsis is. I'm not. I want to be delicate with you because I love you and I don't want to hurt you. But I'm not a professional, so I'm just somebody who cares about you. But it's like, so as I say this, I'm conscious that the words could be painful to hear in this context. But the first thing that came to my mind is that sepsis is the leading cause of death, I think, in the world, like, of all time. And the reason I'm saying that is because these, like, warning signs and stuff, it can be different for different people. So after management got sepsis, like, I had read, like, there, or like people would say, like, people, this girl died, was like 22 and got it and didn't make it. And there are people like, but people can make it. Like Bill Clinton had it, and but because it can be different, you know, for different. I think for like when you go septic, like I think you start out with an infection, and sometimes it can take over very quickly because it's a matter like too which bacteria, because you can get a kind that's very bad, and it would be like very quick, and sometimes there's different strains. So when I heard that, I got very afraid, because it's so serious. But that's kind of why I was like curious, like, was he? Well, you know, because some people, it could be just you get like, well, because if you have diabetes, you get a cut, and something can get in the blood.
Right. I've heard that.
Yeah, that's what people will say nowadays. You know, go clean that cut. You know, like when you're a kid, because nowadays, you know, with our cleanliness. But if you can remember, if you can imagine, like back in older days, they were getting sepsis a lot, and it was turning into a really bad situation.
Yeah, it's really quick.
We have
so poisons the whole body just filled up with toxin, with poison.
Yeah.
It goes into
your organs.
Bloodstream, and your bloodstream, your blood is just flowing through your whole body. So.
Yeah. Yeah. The bacteria would infest in your organs and attack your systems. So you would need antibodies. Did you have to find the right antibodies for it that they would culture what kind of bacteria it is?
Yeah. So there's so many different bacteria. I see it's not the same for everybody. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, but you know, well, I mean, we get bacteria. I mean, there's bacteria on us all the time. You know.
Right.
Good MRSA, and it's part of how we are, but it doesn't get in the blood without, you know, some usually being a wound, like a deep wound, but or sometimes the place that it hits with the bloodstream. But the bacteria, they are, you know, without the way that medical science has evolved, if they can get it early enough or they can attack it, there can be hope. But I was just, you know, because like the longer that he lasts, the better the sign is that that he's fighting it, they could fight it. You know, I was just curious, like,
because I never knew much about it. I know that I've heard stories of people going in the hospital for one thing, and they wind up getting it in the hospital. You know.
Mm-hmm. Sepsis in the hospital.
Yeah.
It could, it's possible. Yeah. I would just kind of like, I don't know. It must be so frustrating. Like you said last night, you didn't know if you were going to be able to sleep because you don't know like a lot of information.
Yeah, because my brother, I talked to him this morning. He said he slept really bad last night. He said, "Man, he said I couldn't fall asleep." You know.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have.
Fall asleep,
yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm glad that you have like your family though, to talk to with this, but the thing is, you have no control over what happens. You know.
Right.
And that makes it hard too because you don't, you know, you can't just have a magic wand. But also, the thing is, when somebody is an adult, even if you're like a parent for the most part, you have to let them go out of the nest. So, you know, and your brother, whatever happened, is kind of like part of our, you know, unfortunately, it's like if I wanted to move to like Pakistan or something, and you felt like, you know, this is a bad idea, you don't really like know where the culture, the landscape or whatever. Like part of it is though, but Stella's grown, so ultimately if something happened to her, like can't like totally control her unless we trap her in a bubble, like completely. So part of it is accepting that the nature of life and how it is, and people being free as an adult, is your siblings and people you love will go out in the world, and you kind of trust in them that they're going to live their life the way that they want to, and that you don't know like anything could happen, you know.
Nothing is promised to us, right? Nothing is for sure, yeah.
Well, it's like acknowledging that you never had control over that situation. But I'm the type that's like that, like, you know, like I could see my neighbors sometimes, we could have a dog out without a leash, and it's like I would never, because, you know, like I feel like literally, if you're my boyfriend, I would literally put you in a cage in the back room and wear the key around my neck, because I get too afraid. I would be too afraid. Like, okay, you have my heart, so nothing can happen to you. And I'm still worried about you guys. If y'all didn't check in, be like, what happened to you? We need a search party, you know. So I think that I cannot relate to that, but I think that that's a fact of life, is
right.
These people go out in the world, and if they go to wherever they go to, it's not something that you can have the marionette strings on, you know.
Yeah, life is something else, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I know like you have the diabetes, and that must have been frightening when you first found out, and then learning to manage it, and you still are. You get your books, you know, you learn.
Yeah, I tell you, as far as my diet is concerned, I've been a complete, from one extreme to the other. I'm kind of like this freaking, like all I eat is freaking rabbit food now, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, you have to learn then to find the joy in the discipline, then its own reward. You only compete against yourself, and in that regard, you find joy in taking self-discipline measures like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, because I have urges to eat certain things, and I just tell myself, you know what, I'm gonna not even think about that. I'm not gonna eat it. Fuck it, I'll find something else healthier to eat, and that's what I do. You know, when I go to the supermarket, I force myself to go to the produce section and not down the junk food section.
Yeah.
You know, it's choices. You know, you have to do what you have to do. You know.
You know, I'm so curious.
Don't have that willpower.
I saw someone on Twitter like, all the food in like in other countries, like it's so much better than America, and it wasn't about like the taste, although I think that too, but it was like the quality. They were just having like a baguettes and like brie or some kind of cheese, and it was like how if it's like the pesticides or what are we doing in our country that you feel in eating it different. But that's something where like I can't compare it, because I have never been out of the country. I mean, I guess you could import. It wouldn't be as fresh, but it has me curious. Like, I wonder when Terry eats something, if it feels different inside of him, like his Chinese food, and like if I have a Chinese food, you know, like if it's in different parts of the world, or Goose Hunter in Canada. If our food is making us sick.
It really just depends, right?
Well, a guy had writes a Twitter thread about, they said that.
Where is it? What are they, what are they using chemical wise?
Yes, that's the thing.
Pesticides, what pesticides they're using? Are they using pesticides?
Roundup. You know, they used to use like arsenic and lead for pesticide because it worked and was like hard and killed and they didn't know. But I saw a Twitter thread about, it was a book called The Moth, I think in the Iron Lung, and it was like about how to kill these moths, to kill these bugs for the food supply, they put a chemical that they believe caused what we refer to as polio in a lot of these cases, where it's the baby on their bottom of their spine, so they believe it was through the digestive tract, but attached in the bottom, and that would impair like the growth and stuff. So that it was from, because as a baby, the infants, like they were more easily affected. They were more affected by this because of how their spine is into the digestive system. And also there was like for teething, because they used to call it like the teething disease or something, and because they would use like iron or something like arsenic or lead, or there was I think it was like in the teeth for the teething for the babies, and it was given to them. They thought it was from teething, even in like the 1800s. So anyway, so when it coincided too, because the vaccine did help when they got it was like through the mouth, but there was like on certain kinds, but it was like not all of them. But basically across the board, they feel like getting rid of like those bad pesticides helped the babies, and it helped people lessen that. But at the same time, I can't really blame people from learning that way. I mean, of course I could blame corporations if they did that and they knew, and if they know that there's something bad and they still do it for money, horrible. But for the most part, it's like, we don't want bugs on the food. What are you going to do? Let them eat all the food and then we die? So you're thinking, oh, this works. And if you don't know yet, you don't know. So there could be things in our food supply that we don't know. And maybe the corporations do, or maybe they don't, but maybe there's something that makes it.
Corporations do. The corporations do. You know, they're like processed foods. Processed foods. I'm learning that processed foods, it's like poison to the human body. You know, when you're young, it doesn't bother you, but when you get older,
yeah,
it all starts showing its ugly face, you know, health wise.
Yeah, DNA damage I found in some of like the sweeteners. Could be all of them. But in your DNA.
It's artificial sweeteners you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is really bad for you.
Yeah. But there is like, we don't know everything. And maybe there is like with the plastics in the water from the runoff, from then gets in the air and rains from everywhere, and the pollutants in our food and the animals and everything. Like maybe it could be happening to us. And it's not to say that people in like Europe have the perfect health. And I think during COVID, like the Italians they lost a lot of people. And they smoke a lot. But I just think if it's true, like if something in our food is making us like go eat it and you don't feel right, you don't feel necessarily satiated, or there's something off, but you don't know what it is, or maybe you don't know that there's something off, but you don't feel right. Could be like,
exactly.
That's why Daryl's always encouraging me, like, eat something organic, read the label.
Yeah,
he doesn't trust these companies.
He's saying now that people are starting.
He's saying, drink my water.
There's like these rooftop gardens. People are like growing their own fruit and vegetables in the inner cities up on a roof. You know, they buy their organic.
And I wonder if they taste different from their own garden, and then you could see like, or if you feel different after you eat it, which is even more important, how you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we have to protect our health, don't we? I mean, especially like if you don't even protect the babies, then, you know, the vulnerable, then what are we doing? Yeah. So, but I guess I don't like to, I like to see people as mostly good, but I think money can corrupt people and they could be compromised and evil.
Money absolutely
Yeah.
corrupts people.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, man. Processed foods. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and these companies, these big companies, and manufacturers and all, they know. Trust me, they know that they're poisoning the masses of people.
Yeah.
But it's the money that they're making, they don't give a shit.
I mean, you can look at old things of like beauty products and stuff. They put lead in their faces, and they would put remember like radium and like radiation. They would put that and they would drink it. They'd be like, you'll radiate beauty. Like really, they're giving themselves radiation poisoning.
I heard years ago. I don't know about now, but I heard some time ago. Even lipstick and makeup and all that stuff.
Lead
had toxic chemicals.
They say in Europe they ban like so much more. You know, like there was girls in America that would buy the ones from Europe because they knew that those ones couldn't be sold there if they had like all the bad things in them. Like I remember sunscreens, that La Roche-Posay brand became very popular in all the blogs because they were saying like girls using American sunscreen. Now I think maybe people are maybe more wiser and have more options, but it was like the ones that don't have the bad stuff and they said this is good because they can sell it in Europe. What does that say about America? That's so sad. I mean, we might say here like we're free here because we can put whatever we want on our face, but how can we be experts on every chemical, It's not really freedom.
You can't, no way, no. Not unless you're damn freaking scientist or something. The average person don't have as cool as,
Well, they're hormone disruptors, endocrine disruptors, things that mess with your hormones through the skin, because literally sometimes like if you put on something on your cream, you can taste it sometimes even because it gets absorbed into your body. That's why they would say if it's in like animal testing in the urine, if it shows up, then how much it's absorbing in this chemical. And sometimes if it's not in the urine, but it's still like in your blood, in your system, because then could that attach to things? Could that turn into cancer? Could your body not know what to do with this and it ends up in your fat cells? And they're like, it's scary when you really think about all the things you have to worry about. But
it is scary.
That's why some people just go so like, I want everything clean everything, because you don't. What's safe?
To be honest with you,
yeah.
At one time I had my weight. I was up to like 275. I'm down to 222 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've lost probably about like 50 pounds or so just by changing my diet and eating healthier.
Yeah, and like your fat cells, like the fat stores, they store toxins in them too. Just because that's how it works. Like there's things that you eat, you never know, like it's and so what happens is like as you lose weight, it's a good thing, but as you lose weight, your body will take those fat cells for energy because it's not
burn the fat.
Yeah, to burn that for energy instead of like, something else. And
Right.
but while it takes that, it releases a toxin. But it was in your body anyway, right? So sometimes people they'll call it like a flu, but as they're losing a lot of weight, they can notice themselves feeling kind of sick, and they're still like they're kind of getting rid of like bad stuff that was in there. Like even right now in our fat cells, like you just have it. Our bodies are not perfect.
Well, your body needs fat, just like your body needs some sugar.
Yeah.
So the body needs some, but you have to choose healthy fats. You have to choose healthy fats, like instead of vegetable oil, you have to choose olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that. Now they found out that with margarine, they found out that margarine is terrible for you. It's saying now that you're better off eating real butter.
I don't think that they know everything now either. You know what I mean? It's like always like everyone wants to feel that they do because it's a horrible feeling to feel like you don't know, but even like what you're putting everything in your body. But I don't think we'll ever know in our lifetime what's 100% right.
No, you won't. You won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think that you say like maybe listen to our bodies. That's why I was curious if the food feels different from another country, because you go with like some people like they like to eat all vegetarian, and some people feel like it's not for them. So I kind of go by how you are, men and women, different times in your life, whatever. When you're pregnant, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
whatever.
So it's complicated, you know. So
Well,
if you're cutting certain things out of your diet, you got to make sure, because the body needs fat and the body needs protein, you know.
mm-hmm.
So if you're a vegetarian and you don't eat meat, you still have to eat certain foods that is to give you the protein that you're not getting from not eating meat. So some people they actually hurt themselves more than they help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Sure, but you know what? The good thing is that people are different, so like they sometimes test Mediterranean diet, or you know, through cultures throughout history. This one, like they eat a lot of rice, and they could have, you know, but you know, then again, they adapt in different climates, whatever. But I think that the more diversity, the more we can learn, you know, from each other. So either way, I want you to learn, just all of us to learn to just be better and better and be healthy and feel good. Live.
I don't know. You might actually like that book that I've been reading. Glucose.
Well,
say that to get the title of it. Revolution, I think the name of it is.
We can all learn to be healthier. That's for sure.
Yeah, Glucose Revolution. There's a lot of hacks in it about certain things to do.
We all care about you, and our hearts are with you over your brother, and yeah, we're here for you. I'm here for you. We're not going anywhere. So try and take care of yourself. Make sure you know if you can get rest. Stay strong, okay? I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
I still think I have to let the dogs out, but I hope you had a good time tonight. I'm sorry you didn't make it through. I'm sorry if I was a little bit like sad earlier, but that's just how I was feeling this week for myself. But I definitely think, you know, I'm trying, and I'm always hoping that you can learn anything at all from my experiences, even if it's like what not to do. If I make a mistake and I can tell you like, hey, this has worked for me or this didn't, because we're all just trying our best. So I'm just happy to report that, you know, I got the boots today, looking forward to date tomorrow. And yeah, one day at a time. But I love you guys so much.